a mid-level market value, or a level market value, or a high level market value. You ask them the question, you throw the question back at them. Ask them that on what market level are you offering salaries. If they say mid-market value, have your working done to be able to know what other companies are offering and be able to say your expectation accordingly, which suits you. If they are on a high end, if they say, okay, fine, we're on a high end market value, pay well, we make sure that our competition gets a tough time, you are going to ask for a high value. Now imagine the fact that you've given a very good impression, but you have no idea whatsoever that the organization is not able to pay well at the moment. They are hiring people on a very low wage, and you throw out a very high number of salary. It might become a reason for you to be able to lose that opportunity and be able to, not get that job. But of course, being realistic while keeping your financial concerns in mind is, of course, your top priority. At the end of the day, you're doing a charity service. This is not something that you're doing out of fun. This is your bread and butter. You need to be able to understand this. As much as organizations value selflessness, nobody's doing it for free. People have their bills to pay, and at the end of the day, that's your major concern. Family. Corporate cultures do that. That's just the kind of a gimmick they do in order to be able to keep their employees. But yes, some cultures are there, some cultures are good. At the end of the day, your relation is for the fact that you are earning from there. You have your own family, you have your own house, you have people who are your friends. You may make friends over there, but at the end of the day, the relation is related to work. The moment you understand the reality that people who work with you will stab you in the back the moment they get an opportunity, not everybody's going to be the same. They will climb on your shoulder to be able to get higher. That's how companies do these family values they talk about, friendship. At the end of the day, people are there to be able to become more successful in terms of worldly aspect. So you can actually be, able to prepare certain questions where certain people can actually, uh, ask questions to those who are interviewing them. Like, for instance, which actually can signal intelligence and engagement. People can ask you questions like, for instance, they ask you a question like, what do you think about success? What does success look like in the role after 6 months? Like, okay, fine. If I am going to be part of your organization, of course, do not ask a lot of questions, because at the end of the day, you're there to ask questions because that's what they're actually judging. So, like, what does success in your company look like after 6 months? Or, what are the current team's biggest challenges which they're facing right now? How would you, in, in your personal perspective, answering this, how would you describe your own leadership style? Is it aggressive? Is it taking everybody along? According to Myers-Briggs personality tests, what is your personality type? What kind of job roles are basically, do that Myers-Briggs personality test and be able to have that analysis. HR organizations usually do these tests to see whether the person is going to be suitable for that particular role or not. What does growth promotion look like here? Ask these questions. You asking John, not general questions. I'm here to serve, sir. I am here to lay my life for you. I am here to give my entire life away. No, this is kind of a desperate, statements. Ask intelligent questions. Avoid questions about salary early unless asked, so that the organization does not get the feel that you are only here, although you're there for that particular thing, but you value experience, you value growth, you value culture, you value, uh, you know, those aspects which majorly people are not. Because if you convey to them that you're only there for the money, then the company is going to be liable to find the person is actually going to leave when they going to get a good opportunity. So why invest in that particular individual? So, once you are done with the interview, do a after interview follow up. Once you're done with it, say you give your gratitude. You're fit for the role. Ask them, did you find me fit for the role? We'll get back to you. This is fine. I'm looking forward to your response. Ask them. You've kind of actually you took your time, to be able to appear for the interview. They are obliged to be able to give you a feedback. Uh, you know, uh, One strong point that you felt when you first saw me or spoke with me? What are the traits that you actually read? Give me your feedback. Something memorable from the interview that you can take, something that you can actually be able to do that. Reflect on your performance, write it down. How do you feel? Did you do well? Do you think that you did well? Which were the questions that you struggle with? Stories that you can improve so that it's more of a learning experience. These things come with experience. These things come with, being able to be out there and do those hands-on experience. So again, um, just like as a summary, I'm sure I've mentioned a lot of things, but we don't have to talk about a lot of science. Of course, this is a very short session. So one is the power pose, the mindset, which the power pose comes with your mindset. You need to visualize that you are here, and as you are here as a person of value. You are here to value exchange mindset, not only be able to be judged whether you're worthy or not, but you are exchanging values. You're here to give value and take value. You need to do controlled breathing. You need to be able to deliberate structured speaking. You need to be able to know that what you're saying, and you need to be able to have them in structured manner. You need to do your rapport building by being able to greet them properly, have your professional posture, have your thoughtful pauses, storytelling star, all these aspects which we talked about. So the idea is that your personality plays a huge role in giving the interviewees the important those who are interviewing the value they are going to receive in their organization. And at the end of the day, قدر الله ما شاء فعل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has written it for you, inshallah, it'll happen. The world is huge out there. It's never, at the end of the road. Uh, People get jobs, it takes time, but all of these trial and difficulties should bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope you found, my points beneficial. Like I said, this was a different kind of a session, how to be able to, here for a job interview when I was actually leading the HR aspect in an organization. This was a kind of a flashback for me. I've done, organizational aspect, not that I'm totally away from it, but this particular job interview reminded me of my master's when I was doing those electives and those interview uh, activities where we actually analyze CVs and be able to see, okay, fine, this person is making a lot of shifts, so this person is a little bit reluctant, and you just jumps on the bandwagon whenever they get a different opportunity, is not able to stay in a particular organization and learn. I hope you guys found it beneficial, and if you have any questions, then please feel free to ask. If I know the answer, inshallah, I will answer it. So please throw it away.
We have one question here.
Brother Wajjihuddin, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly reward you, Brother Wajjihuddin. You have no idea what kind of a favor and hasanat you are doing. Imagine people benefiting from this conversation and getting a job. Inshallah, you will be having your share. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly reward you. Before I ask my question, I will introduce myself, and accordingly, I will complement some of the points that you said, if you will allow me, and ask you also some questions Nevertheless, my name is Hussein Ibrahim. I'm from Cyprus. I'm an academic. I'm 51 years old. I am working as a software quality assurance and training manager, and I have been at the both ends of the interview, the one as an applicant and the one as the aggressive interviewer, because my job is very challenging. What I would like to compliment and also share with you, hopefully others will benefit from my compliments to what you just said. Because of the nature of my profession, we get paid for making problems so that the client doesn't make problem. So if I'm the interviewer, I ask the applicant, we have a horrible job. Why do you want to take this job? This is one of the questions that I ask. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer them, which in a way that I would like to hear, and I would also like to hear your answers. How would you answer this? For example, I will almost never give this job to anyone which does not use the word love, that he loves what he's doing. He's passionate about what he's doing. I mean, if it's a programmer who hasn't got technical skills and who thinks that he can just test, I will never give him this job. Unless this person convinces me that he really loves what he's doing, then I will give him this job. This will be the answer I'm waiting. So please take a note. I'm going to listen to your answers. The second question is, okay, Mustafa, why should I give you this job and not to Ahmed? This is the second question I will be asking. And the answer that I will expect from him, that I will say, for example, I will take the challenge to compete with Ahmed, although this is not my nature, but I would like to be given the opportunity to be able to do the job as good as possible. And I only compete with my own self. And I will try to convey this as realistically as possible, even though there will be splints of artificial nature in it, you know. Then I wrote down one of the critical questions is that what happens, Ahmed? Let's say I'm asking Ahmed the question: if you are unable to finish the job on time, what you gonna do? This is a question that I will definitely ask, and the answer that I will expect at this stage is that he tells me, I will note everything down regarding what has been accomplished. And from a legal perspective, I will descope. I will write it down because maybe some people, they haven't heard this term. Descope means I will take out this functionality. I will document it saying that it doesn't work here. Our application works here, but this section has been descoped, and I will cover everything. So this is the kind of answer that I will expect. Then the typical question, what is the most challenging thing that you have encountered in your career? Once again, this is my way of answering this question based on my experience, and I would like to also listen to your answer. I will say that if I'm confronted with a challenge which is concerning me, my skill set, my personality, my way of dealing, I will definitely deal with it. But if it's something, a team member, which I have little influence, and he's stubborn not to change, then this is very challenging for me, and I don't want to get involved into HR. I will do my best to contribute to his skill set, but at one point I will feel stuck, and this will be very challenging for me because I don't want to be a means for anyone to lose his job. At the same time, I will answer something like this. And
Brother Hussain, would you please put in your question directly so that we could save the time? I'll be grateful.
Arshad, I'm going to do something better than that. Let me finish.
Actually, we have a limited time, this meeting.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Hussein. Yeah, he was adding really good points over there, and he answered them effectively as well. So I think he had a couple of 3 to 4 questions, and if you want, Brother Rashid, should I answer them very shortly so that he can get the answer, and because he was actually sharing all of it for people to benefit from, inshallah.
As you wish.
If you have your question, then
we have some questions here as well.
Okay, so I'll just answer them shortly because I'm just going to be able to, highlight them.
Right.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Hussein. May Allah, barakallah fi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Yes, these questions are very critical, where you particularly said that why should we hire you and not the other person? You very rightly said that instead of devaluing the other person. You talk about yourself, and um, can't speak for the other person, but I know what values and what things I can actually bring in this organization. This gives the organization not devaluing your two team members, and you're not going to be the person who's actually going to be able to pull other people's leg, but you talk focus towards yourself. And this is one of the very trait of successful people, that they are focused towards their responsibilities and their bringing. So if they ask you regarding that individual, you say, I would reserve my comments regarding that particular individual, since I may not speak for them. I may not have the right to be able to speak for them, but I speak for myself. As far as the aspect of problem solving, a person who's applied for the job is like, I have done my research, I have done my working to be able to understand that, this is the kind of work that I live for. This is the kind of work that I'm passionate about. This is what I do. This is how I've been treated. People may look at it as a problem, but this is part and parcel of my work routine. Make the people understand that this is how they need to know that this is what you do on regular basis. This may not be a very much of a problem for you. Whereas people see it as a problem, you look at it as an opportunity. You look at it as an opportunity to grow. Problem for other people where they do not allow themselves to be in a not so comfortable situation, but you have allowed yourself to be able to put yourself out there in situations which makes you learn and grow, which also gives a very important. And I may be forgetting some of the other questions while listening to you, but I was actually listening to your answers and you answered them pretty well. So I can take other people's question as well, and apologize if I was not able to answer all your questions, Brother San. Brother Rashid, what other question do we have?
Jazakallah. Jazakallah, brother. We have first question. Can we put perfume when we go for job interview? This is from lady, I think.
This is a lady. Okay, it's very important that hygiene is very important, right? Of course, people may find it odd that when we talk about the religious aspect, uh, even for men, I'll first speak for the men. I'm a collector of fragrances. I love fragrances. I appreciate a person and the personality when a good fragrance is worn by them, even if they have a good taste. It tells a lot about the personality, and we do understand from the Sunnah that putting on a good fragrance and be able to, your personality and your taste actually tells a lot to people who can actually read which kind of perfume you're wearing. So it really connects me with individuals. As far as the females are concerned, of course, the hadith is very clear with regards to a woman wearing a perfume, and to a certain amount where she actually goes, and the non-mahrams are able to smell that fragrance. So very little amount, which can actually not be projecting to a certain degree, where it can become a form of fitna. But it is important that when people choose not to put fragrance just to be on the safe side, it is very important that you need to be able to smell fresh. You do not have to wear clothes which leave out, give out an odor. It is very important because you won't be getting close to anyone in terms of like, men hugging the person who's another male. It's just the idea that, when they're giving a handshake, they can actually be able to smell that fragrance. But in case of females, of course, practicing females need to make it very clearly, with a very clear and respective of the fact that we don't shake hands with the non-mahram, because this is what the value that you stand for. You don't have to be apologetic about it. You need to be very clear. If they don't like it, then that's not the place that you want to be, because you are not going to lie and be able to get a job and be able to compromise on something which your Lord is actually going to be displeased with, and then it's not going to bring barakah. So don't feel bad about it. People who actually appreciate people with values actually can see that people have certain ethics which they are going to hold on to. So I hope that answers the question regarding the perfume and the handshake.
Another question, Jazakallah. Another question. If I, as a woman, are asked to travel to other city, what should I do? Can you hear me,
Sorry,
brother?
is this from female's side?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, can you
If
repeat the question?
if I, as a woman, are asked to travel
Hmm.
to other city, what should I do?
Hmm. Oh, the basic issue is that first and foremost, you need to be able to see if you have a mahram with you. And if that is not available in certain situations, of course, your first and foremost effort is to be able to find a job where you are able to be in that particular locality. It's not too much of traveling time because, of course, your safety, your haya, and all of these aspects are there. But your goal in life is not to be able to compromise on the limitations set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the sake of getting a few bucks. But I do understand that the possibility of certain people out there where, they have to earn for their family, and this flexibility is there. So if you can travel with a some scholars do have that opinion. Illat, and the reason is that safety is going to be there. And if you are able to travel in a group where you know that you are going to be comfortable in that traveling phase, it's not going to be too much of a stopping time. At times, it's usually one city to another, a short plane trip, more than one, not 1.5 hour, 2 hour. It's just getting in the plane and being dropped in the plane and be able to get on the plane and be able to go there. This was basically one of the aspects. And if IOU has a particular stance regarding in that state, somebody actually asked me this question recently. I asked them the situation. It depends from person to person, but the general ruling is that a woman needs to avoid it unnecessarily and not put herself in a situation where she is, exposed to certain danger. So I hope that answers your question.
Next question. What jobs are good for women?
What job? The best job. I'm sure when we talk about job, it also has to do with the monetary aspect. I think the best job Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them is to be able to be at home. I don't feel any hesitation talking about it. But the idea is that you need to understand that your first responsibility, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has relieved you from that mashaqqa, and that struggle is that the men need to take that responsibility. But if you can secure that very aspect of your interaction with the non-mahram, you need to understand those principles, the PPL formula that we all talk about. Do not speak to any non-mahram in private. Your messaging, your WhatsApp, your messenger in private is also considered as that kind of a digital halwa. Be able to avoid that. And if you have to, you need to be able to make yourself in conversation, limited in your conversation. Focus towards that conversation, because at times, in ideal situations, we talk about in a very general perspective, but certain times it's not possible. You need to keep yourself limited. Make sure when you interact with certain, opposite with the opposite gender, you are doing that in public and not in private. So make it, private. Avoid private. Uh, if you have to, do it in public, and if you have no other choice, keep it limited. Why? Because you need to also avoid certain areas, because this is the kind of a movement balwa, the kind of problem that we have, that it's become a culture where the schools or the university and the corporate culture are very intermingling and then intermixing, and people are unable to find appropriate jobs. But if they have to, due to certain problem, we talking from realistic point of view, then they need to maintain their haya and their iman and be able to allow themselves to be able to not be in a situation where their faith is compromised. And try in your level best not to get into a certain job. Your risk is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is there to provide to you, and he will provide, but that is not your main role. The best job that you can find is to be able to find a job which is upbringing your children. And I'm saying this without any hesitation. A lot of females get offended these days because society has trivialized the role of a family, the responsibility of family, and made their corporate roles, glamorous in front of them, and they feel ashamed of being able to take those responsibility which Allah has given them, which is a much bigger role, since it doesn't give that kind of a monetary benefit. Corporate gives them kind of a value, so they run after it. Or if we're talking about from needs perspective, so please keep that perspective very clear, that at the end of the day, you have to keep your Lord pleased.
Jazakallah khair. Another question: can a woman wear makeup in job interview?
I think the aspect of haya has to be maintained, because if you are, at the end of the day, we're talking about a lot of cosmetics over here. I think real organizations, true organizations, value personalities, value traits rather than these superficial aspect. I think our society has made our sisters feel that maybe they are going to be more valuable if they're going to make their appearance better in front of the individual. These, I think, this needs to be avoided as much as possible. Unless there is an aspect of defect, some people actually cover their faces. So, of course, some scholars have it as a ruling that they do not consider it to be obligatory. But again, if you do not follow the ruling of an obligation, make sure that your appearance does not attract the opposite gender. If you're among females, that's just not a problem. But your appearance should not be a form of attraction for the opposite gender. When you understand that aspect, your makeup priorities, your perfume priorities, your clothing priorities are automatically going to be within those limits. So yeah, you have to be able to keep that in perspective.
Jazakallah khair. Brother, we have one question which I hope you can see in the chat box. That is from a sister. It's a long question. If you can see that, so that I should not read it for all of them. It is a long question. Long question. It starts from I'm 23 years old. It starts from here. I'm 23 years old.
I'm trying to. Okay. She said, "Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. I'm 23-year-old and preparing for I'm preparing to become a doctor. I'm not able to focus on it because I want to become Islamic scholar. But then, how can I become financially independent as a female, because my family doesn't support me for becoming Islamic scholar?" Yeah, I do get it. Like, look, I come from a totally different background. I know the female challenges are there. I come from a totally different background. My computers, human resource management, some of it from media background. What I did, I made my commitment to be able to study the religion. I'm still learning. I'm still a basic student of knowledge. I made sure that I need to be able to get my degree. And I did understand that I need to also take care of my financial aspect. So I kept acquiring my financial strengthening elements along, while in bits and pieces, taking my time, because I'm not in a rat race to be able to just get a degree, scholar's degree. For the sake of getting a scholar's degree, you don't have to do it in 8 years. You can do it in 10 years. You can do it in 11 years. You can do it in 20 years. You can do it in 50 years if you want to. Keep acquiring that knowledge, because the knowledge aspect is for you to be able to improve your actions, not to be able to call a scholar. Make sure that you truly allow that information to sink in your heart while being able to secure your financial aspect. So you need to not hurry up things. You can take two things along. I did two of my masters together while my graduation was happening. I was sitting in the floor giving my last year's alim degree in the madrasa. Because my friends were, throwing away the caps, and maybe what benefit you will have. My value addition is that I am acquiring it not just to be able to have that degree, but I need to learn. When the financial aspect can actually draw you back. It can actually make you compromise on your Islamic learning. You can, make that aspect slow, more focused, while accomplishing that financial aspect, and then you can actually increase the pace when the time is right. And it does not take a lot of time, 2-3 years maybe, or maybe a year or two, and you can actually do it bits and pieces. Work on yourself and Nahav, your Sira, your Qawaid, your see principles, make sure you're based. I guess this is the last question, Brother Ashik. You can do the closing, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefit you all for joining on this session, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you halal risk and save you from haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in your time and wealth and in your health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from me and take it as a deed which can earn his pleasure. At times we do not realize that maybe something really benefited someone. But at the end of the day, we all expect a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever we do, so that we do not end up having any of our activities wasted, which we do in this world. So Jazakumullah khair to those who have joined in, and may Allah bless you.
Jazakallah khairan for your precious time, for this wonderful and beneficial talk. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
Assalamu alaikum. So please, can I ask a question before we end completely?
Brother Wajjihuddin, please suggest if Sister Fatima can ask one last question.
Sure, she can ask a question. Last question.
Sure,
yeah.
Sister, please go ahead quickly, inshallah.
Thank you. Sorry.
I can't hear her. I think her voice is cutting
I
down.
have two questions, please, if you don't mind.
Okay, Sister Fatima, we cannot hear you very well. So if you can leave your question in the chat box. Sister Fatima, please leave your question in the chat box, and inshallah, Sister Sahar can get back to you with its answer. And Brother Arshad, inshallah, you can have the closing dua so that we can close the session.
Okay, Sister. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Wajjihuddin. Jazakallah khair, everyone, for attending today.